Mac loved exploring his backyard. Today, a particularly dazzling red butterfly with black spots fluttered near the old oak tree, and Mac just had to catch it. He giggled, his sneakers thumping softly on the grass as he chased the elusive insect towards a patch of tall, leafy plants he'd never really paid attention to before. The butterfly had vanished into a small opening nestled between the thick roots of the oak tree. Her curiosity bubbling, Mac carefully parted the leaves and peered inside. The opening wasn't just dark, it shimmered with a soft, inviting green light, like fireflies trapped in a jar. He hesitated for a moment, then his adventurous spirit took over. Maybe the butterfly needs help, he whispered to himself, and wriggled through the narrow gap. With a soft thump, Mac landed on something soft and mossy. He blinked, trying to make sense of what he saw. He was no longer in his backyard. Towering over him were blades of grass, as thick as tree trunks. Colorful little houses, crafted from acorns and vibrant flower petals, dotted the landscape. And then he saw them, tiny people, dwarves, no bigger than his action figures, with long white beards and brightly colored clothes, were staring at him with wide, surprised eyes. One was carefully polishing a shiny red ladybug with a tiny cloth, while another carried a glistening dewdrop in a hollowed-out seed. A dwarf with a long, flowing white beard, a bright blue pointy hat, and a cheerful yellow tunic stepped forward. He held a tiny, beautifully carved wooden staff in his hand. He looked a bit nervous, but offered Mac a small, slightly wobbly smile. The other dwarves peeked from behind giant mushrooms and colorful flower pots, their tiny faces a mixture of fear and intense curiosity as they gazed at the enormous boy who had suddenly appeared in their land. Mac realized he must look like a giant to these tiny folk. He carefully sat down cross-legged, trying his best to appear less scary. The elder dwarf, standing on a sturdy red toadstool, spoke in a high-pitched, tinkling voice that Mac could just about understand. He asked who Mac was and how he had arrived in their enchanted land. Mac explained about chasing the butterfly and accidentally falling through the hidden opening. A few brave young dwarves crept closer, pointing at his big sneakers and his MAK hoodie with curious expressions. To show he meant no harm, Mac offered to help the dwarves with their work. He saw a group struggling to push a giant acorn, which was probably their version of a boulder, up a small, mossy hill. Carefully, using just one finger, Mac gave the acorn a gentle nudge. It rolled easily up the hill, and the dwarves cheered with delight, their tiny faces beaming with gratitude. The dwarves, now comfortable with their giant visitor, invited Mac to join their games. They showed him their bumblebee races, where tiny jockeys rode on the backs of buzzing bees, using colorful flower petals as sails. Mac watched in amazement as they zipped through the air, laughing and cheering. It looked like so much fun. The dwarves then invited Mac to a feast. They set up a tiny table made from a large, flat mushroom cap, and offered him miniature berries that tasted incredibly sweet and dewdrops served in tiny acorn cups. Mac carefully used a small twig as a spoon to eat the delicious treats. He felt like a friendly giant amongst his new, small friends. As the sun began to set in Mac's world, casting long shadows across the backyard, Mac knew it was time to go home. He thanked the dwarves for their incredible hospitality and promised never to forget his visit to their magical land. The elder dwarf presented him with a small, smooth, green stone as a parting gift. All the little dwarves waved goodbye, their tiny voices echoing with farewell wishes as Mac carefully crawled back through the glowing opening. Mac is back in his own backyard, near the base of the oak tree. The familiar green lawn, colorful flower beds, and the wooden fence bordering his yard are visible in the background. The hidden opening is no longer glowing. He is kneeling on the grass, holding the smooth green stone in his outstretched hand, gazing at it with a thoughtful smile. The red butterfly flutters by in the foreground. The animation emphasizes the return to the normal scale of Mac's backyard, contrasting with the magical miniature world he just left.